Welcome back to another one of my videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lotta, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than my usual baking content. Now, for the past 8 years, I've been doing something called a bullet journal. Some of you may know what that is, and some of you may not. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically like a journal or a planner where you get to draw, write, color, everything in it. So it's basically like a blank planner and you get to be as creative as you want. And you kind of get to set it up however works best for your life and your schedule and things that you may want to track and all those things. Now with 2024 coming to an end, it is time to retire my 2024 bullet journal and add it to my collection. There we go. So I figured I would take you along today and show you how I set up my 2025 bullet journal, and maybe it'll give you some inspiration on how to set up your bullet journal and some different spreads or different ideas that you might want to use in your own bullet journal. Now, without further ado, drum roll please, it is time to introduce my 2025 bullet journal. Now, for the past 9 years, I've been using the Leuchtturm 1917 A5 bullet journals. I love all the colors that they come in and just how the journal itself is set up. So if you are looking for a bullet journal, I highly recommend that you go with a Leuchtturm. But again, there's so many different journals out there, so I'm sure they all work just fine. I like starting my bullet journal with a yearly calendar. This way I can easily see the whole year at a glance, and this will also help with my monthly calendars because I can quickly see what day a month starts and ends on. From there, I break my yearly calendar down into a 4-page yearly overview. I use this to track important dates and events like holidays, school breaks, etc. I managed to fit 3 months onto each page. Once again, I add a mini calendar for each month. Drawing the calendars can definitely get quite repetitive, but the good thing is you only have to do this once at the beginning of the year and then you're all set. Now there are many different spreads that you can include in your bullet journal. I've previously included a spread of my favorite TV shows and movies from that year, a yearly goals list, a travel spread, and many more. One of my favorite spreads to include every year is a birthday calendar. It's such a simple way to keep track of important dates and make sure I never miss a birthday. For my birthday calendar, I'm splitting out my page into 12 boxes. Under each month, I'll write the names and dates of birthdays I want to remember. This way, it's easy to see everything at a glance. I can plan ahead for cards, gifts, or even just sending a quick message. This year, I'm also including a spread for my YouTube videos. Once again, I broke down the page into 12 boxes, one for each month, and I write down all the Sundays in that month. Throughout the year, I fill out what videos I posted each Sunday. For one, this helps me plan when I'm posting what, and it also holds me accountable for posting a video every single Sunday. On the other side, I'm doing a bookstore or a library spread. I've been doing this spread since my very first bullet journal, and it's probably one of my favorite spreads from my entire bullet journal. I just love how cute it turns out with all the shelves and the books and the plants and everything. Now, throughout the year, I write down what books I read or want to read and color them in once I've finished them. Usually the shelf doesn't really get filled out because I reread the same 3 series over and over again, but it's just a cute spread, so I had to include it. After doing all the outlays of my spreads, I go back with my Mildliner markers and add some colors and highlights. I usually pick 3 to 4 colors for the theme of my journal. This year I went with like a purple, pink, yellow vibe, which I think turned out super cute. Now onto the monthly setup. I start each month with a monthly calendar where I can write any important events coming up that month. The birthday calendar and yearly overview pages really come handy at this point. I also add a little section for monthly goals, events, and what YouTube videos I will be posting. Now let's dive into some of the trackers I'm setting up for 2025. These are super functional spreads that help me stay on top of my health, habits, and daily life, and I've tailored each one to fit my needs, but feel free to adapt them however you like. The first tracker is my period tracker. I like to keep this simple. It's just a monthly grid where I can mark the days and track patterns. I'm also adding a space for notes to log any symptoms or changes. On the next page is my sleep log, which helps me track my beauty sleep. I just use a graph where I can mark the hours I slept each night. This just helps me spot trends and make adjustments if I'm not getting enough rest. Next is my work schedule tracker. This one's especially handy if you work shifts or have varying hours. I just write down what days I work as well as my start times. Since they vary week to week, it helps me get a little bit more organized, and it also helps me keep track of how much I'm working each month. Beside my work tracker, I've got my fluid intake tracker. This is just a daily habit tracker that's designed to keep me hydrated. One of my goals for 2025 is to drink more water, so this graph is definitely going to help me see if I'm reaching my goal or not. On the next page, we've got my university course load tracker. For my uni spread, I use a tracker that organizes everything in one place. There's a space for course names and assignment deadlines so I can stay on top of all my studies without feeling overwhelmed. My mood tracker and exercise tracker are simple calendar spreads where I fill out each day with a corresponding color. In previous years, I've used different designs for each month for my mood tracker. Nowadays, I find it much easier and simpler to just do a little calendar spread rather than drawing a fancy picture and sectioning off days. I also do an additional tracker for other things like cleaning, feeding my sourdough, etc. This tracker is a simple table with dates along the top, and then I draw little X's if I did that thing or if I didn't do it. Last but not least is my one line a day spread. This spread is a space where I jot down a highlight, memory, or thought from each day. It's a low pressure way to journal, and it's so fun to look back at the end of the year. Now let's set up my weekly spread. This is one of the most important parts of my bullet journal. It's where I plan out my days, track my tasks, and stay on top of everything that's happening during the week. My weekly spread is not super interesting, but it keeps me organized, which is all that matters. I basically just create boxes for each day. On days that I have uni, I create 2 boxes, the top one being for normal life events and tasks, and the lower box being for university-related things like assignments, readings, etc. On weeks that I don't have uni, I'm able to fit 6 days onto one page. On weeks that I do have uni, I'm able to fit a full week onto 2 pages. Now I also save room at the top of each day where I can do a little weather sketch and write down the temperatures. Now I also went back and added some last final touches, so let's do a quick walkthrough of my finished 2025 bullet journal. I started my bullet journal with a basic title page, and then we've got the yearly calendar. The yearly calendar then goes into the yearly overview where I add any important events like holidays. Then of course we've got our birthday tracker. After the birthday tracker, we've got my favorite page, the bookstore, as well as my YouTube video tracker. I left a couple pages blank in case I wanted to add any other spreads like a travel spread or anything else that I will find useful over the year. Now on to our monthly spreads. We start with a monthly calendar that helps me plan ahead for the month and see any important events that are coming up. The next pages are all of my different trackers. And lastly, we've got our weekly spreads. And there you have it, my 2025 bullet journal. So that's going to be everything for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up or write me a comment down below. And I will see you next Sunday with another cake recipe.